Hello there, this is Rom coming back at you with yet another car video. In most cases, you cannot assume why a woman wants a particular man. I'm saying in most cases. Now, if a woman tells you straight up she's a good friend of yours, she your sister, cousin, whatever, and she tell you straight up this why she want a man, okay, in those cases you can go with it. But let's be real. In most cases out here, when you see a woman with a man, you can't be like, oh, well, he bad for it and all of that. Because I remember some comments on the video I did last week saying women always know which man is good for them. They know. Because you don't know what that particular woman is looking for. Like I always talk about the instance where this woman I dealt with back in the day who, I'm thinking she with me, I got the body going, got the education, got all this stuff going for me. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's what she wanted. Nah, she wanted to deal with me because she thought I was very family oriented. And she was very family oriented. So, I'm thinking one thing, she thinking something else. And she told me. And that's who she ended up marrying. The guy she ended up marrying was somebody very much into the family because that's how she was. And see, whenever you see a man out here, you can't be like, oh, she with that bad guy or whatever. Regardless of what he looked like, whatever. Because you don't know that woman. Even when you see, like, say you see a woman who look like she's some corporate woman and she with some guy. She with some guy look like a thug. Ain't even so much she getting with a thug because you don't know anything about that woman. Because in a lot of cases, that woman could just be dressed up. She might work in a corporate environment, but when she get away from that, she's something else. Or she could have grew up in a thug-ass environment. And the guys who imprinted her were like thug types. You don't know. Or she could be getting with some guy. You can get a woman who gets with a guy and she making all this money. And you assume, well, she want to control him or something. But no. She getting with him because he got some good dick. That's all she want from him. That's all she want. And my point is, unless you know that woman personally, unless you talk to her, you can't assume anything. And see, a woman is going to get with the guy that she needs. Remember, I said that in my book, Nice Guys and Players. When a woman chooses a man, she chooses what she needs. Like you might have a woman who's very nurturing. She want to fix up a guy. That's what she needs. Or I'm going to tell you what, with a lot of women will get a guy that will solve a problem from her childhood. Even, especially a lot of women who are dealing with some daddy issues. They will get a guy who they deep down want that guy to solve it. And he might be all jacked up. But see, some guy might be, might want the woman, think she attractive, and he might think, man, she fine. Why she dealing with him? Why she should deal with him? Unless you know that woman personally, you don't know why. Unless you know that woman personally. When I say personally, like she sat down and talked to you several times. Because you can get an idea. Now, you can get an idea if you've been reading women enough who they might go for, but that's never 100%. That's not, and I'm someone who can read women real well, but it's not. I will be the first one to say that's never 100% because you don't know that woman personally. You don't know anything about her. All you knowing is what you seeing on the surface, especially if you don't know her. Now, it gets better if I get a chance to talk to that woman. Then I'm like, oh, okay. Then it shoots up to 90%. But if I'm just going on a look or something, it might be around 75%. And even then, it will be like what I would call an educated guess. But I don't know that woman. I don't know what's up with her. And if I see a particular woman with a particular guy, and it could be any situation. You could see some woman with some thug dude. But, you really don't know. Hell, they might not even be together. I remember this past weekend, because most dudes can't read body language anyway. This past weekend, I'm at a Amish market in my area, Joppa Town, for people who live in Harford County. Was in line with my sons. They getting some sandwiches, right? And I saw this nice old young lady with this tall dude. Now, somebody who can't read them, they're probably like, oh yeah, they're together. But I can read their body language. I can see, they ain't in a relationship. I don't know what they there for. But during I was close enough to hear their conversation. And in their conversation, he mentioned his wife, and then they talked about his wife for a good minute. And I was like, oh, okay. They probably co-workers or something. It is what it is. Because I could tell with their body language, I was like, nah, they ain't lying, but they ain't all up on each other. They keeping a good distance, about a 3-foot distance. Like, if you see a couple, they keeping a 3-foot distance. In most cases, they ain't together. But see, some dudes will see that and say, oh, that's what she like. You don't know what she like. Even when you see women out here in the streets, you don't know what they like. Even some women, they'll put a man in the friend zone and still go out someplace and hold his hand. You still don't know. Like I said, at best it's 75%, at best. But you really just never know. And that's the thing you always got to remember. And see, my point with even saying that is, you don't worry about it. You don't worry about it. If you don't know that woman, you don't worry about who she'll mess with or whatever. You see her, don't make any assumptions. Don't think something. You don't know anything about that woman. If she with a certain type of guy, or even a guy like a lot of dudes would make a big deal out of seeing a woman of like a particular race with a man of another race. You don't know why she with him. You don't know anything about them. You don't know. You don't know how much they might click. You don't know. They could be in the same social class, could have grew up together. You don't know anything. If you don't know that woman, you don't know anything. And my point with even saying all this is, you don't worry about it. You don't worry about it. It's just like I said in my sit-down video. You don't worry about the next man. Because you get some guys, they'll see some woman that they feel is attractive, and she with some guy, and they immediately trying to think, well, why she with him? Why she with him? I don't know. Maybe she finds something in him. If she fucking do, she finds something. Shit. Like, and I've said this numerous times, and I know I'll keep saying it. First of all, you can't go on how he look. First of all, another man cannot adequately judge another man because you don't have her vagina. You don't know what's up. You don't know why they being friendly or whatever. It could be whatever reason. Shoot, me just coming from the gym, there's a couple like very attractive young ladies that always friendly with me. Somebody can't assume anything. Now, I ain't doing anything with them, but if I'm talking with them, you can't assume why, because you don't know them. If you don't know that woman, you don't worry about it. And like I said, in most cases, even in cases where you can read them, you can maybe get an idea, maybe, like I said, if you're good at reading like body language and clothing and all this other stuff, you can maybe make an educated guess, but at the end of the day, you don't know. there's a difference between guessing something and knowing something. And because you don't know, you don't worry about it. See, too many guys out here, they worried about what the next man is doing. I'm like, whatever. Or a woman getting with a guy. You don't know. She might have got with, I don't care what you, first of all, like I said, you don't worry about how that guy look. You a man. You don't have a vagina. You don't worry about it. You don't worry about what, and even if you want the woman, because some dudes, you know, a lot of dudes be like thinking, well, I'm better than him. How you know? Do you know what that woman needs? You know what her needs are? Shoot, she might need that guy who's gonna be like a little thuggish. Cause that might be her, no, regardless of how she look. Shoot, I remember when I was doing a live seminar, I had people there, I had this little mousy girl talking about, she want a thug. She want a thug. Now, she all mousy, all quiet, all that. And I know most guys will probably look at her like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? You should want a good guy. But she might have something in her. She need that thug dude to, like, really straighten her out, really lead her. Or it might be some woman who is into, like, nerdy guys. You don't know, that woman might be very much into more intellectual stuff. She might be more intellectual. I have a good friend, I knew her for decades. And if you see her, you think, yeah, she just want that, like, upper class guy who's making all this money or something. Nah. She likes guys on a more intellectual tip. Also guys on a more hustle tip. She didn't marry, even though she a PhD, she didn't even marry, she didn't marry like, she married the guy more on the hustle tip. But the guys she got along with were more on the intellectual tip. She kind of liked both. But see, that's from knowing her. That's from knowing her. And see, you really don't know unless you know that woman personally. In most cases, you can't look at her and tell. Like I said, at best, you can get an educated guess. And, you know, like I was about to get into earlier, you don't worry about it. If a woman with a particular man, no matter how fine you think she is, no matter what she got going on, let me do the progression because I know I got some guys be looking for it. She can have that, like, face card, nice hair, nice breasts, snatched waist, big old butt dunk or nice old butt dunk, round hips, thick thighs, which save lives. I got something to say about that. Those thick thighs, which save lives. The calves, with those nice calves, which you gotta have. Those nice toes, she can have all of that. And you might want that. You want to tear her up. You'd be like, damn, why she with him? Don't worry about it. She want to be with him. That's the bottom line. She wants to be with him. That's the guy that's turning her on. Because, look, here's the thing. You don't know what gets a particular woman hot. Unless you know that woman personally. Like, y'all good friends. Y'all done talked. She done told you some stuff. Because, like I said, a third of my consultation clients are women. A third of my consultation clients are women. And really, for well over a decade before I started even doing videos like this, started even getting men for consultation clients, I was getting mostly women. And the guys they say they wanted, it would, if you look at them and look at the guys they say they wanted, your first thought would be like, damn. But then I started realizing, it was like, man, at the end of the day, you don't know. You can't, you, like I said, at best you can get a general idea. I'm going to say that for the umpteenth time, but you really don't know. But see, a lot of guys, they be getting mad. They be like, oh, he a loser, he this or that. How you know? You know that man? You know what he got? Do you know him personally? Shoot. Because you don't know. Shoot, you don't know what a guy's doing. I remember I was doing some vending. I'll never forget this. This is back around 2006 or something. I was doing some vending at a local flea market. And this guy hit me up, and I mean, he looked like a straight thug. It turned out he was one of these dudes who was dealing in real estate, mortgages and stuff. Yeah, we saw how well that did back in 2006 and stuff. But if you looked at him, you wouldn't even think he was doing anything intellectual like that. He looked like more like the type who would rob somebody. But this dude was a legitimate mortgage broker. You don't know. You don't worry about it. When you see a woman with a guy, I don't care how much you want her. I don't care how fine she is. Whatever body parts you like. You see her with a guy. She with that guy. Ain't doing you any good any motherfucking way. But see, some guys, they'll see that and try to put the guy down. I guess to make themselves feel better. I'm like, for what? That woman does not want you. That woman is not going to go out with you. She's with that dude. And you don't know what that dude bringing to the table. She could be fixing him up. He could be way more intellectual than you think he is. He could be on that hustle, party. Or he might just have a good dick for her. You don't know. Because you don't know what that woman is. No matter even, like I said, you can read the woman, but at the end of the day, you don't know what her background is. Like I said, there's plenty of women who will dress up and all of that and look nice. But they really from the hood. H-O-double-D, just go with the spelling. They from the hood. They ain't all that. Sure, they can look like whatever. Sure, indeed, I've been finding out there's been plenty of couples. And you'll think the man running stuff, but then behind closed doors, the woman running stuff. You don't know. You don't know unless you know them personally. Unless you know the man personally, the woman personally. Now, if you know the couple personally, when I say personally, you really know them deep down, and you know it's a jacked up relationship, that's different because you know them deep down. You know them, but you don't know them. But see, a lot of guys out here be worried about some couples they don't know. There's couples they don't see. Like that whole Pookie and Ray Ray thing. A lot of guys will see some fine woman with some guy calling him a Pookie or Ray Ray, think he a thug or something. It's like, do you know that motherfucker? Do you know him? You don't know him from Jack. You don't know her from Jack. Shoot, they might be the perfect couple. You don't know them. You don't worry about it. When you out here, all you worried about is yourself. And it was like I said on my sit-down video. Don't be concerned about the next man. Only be concerned with yourself. Because that's all you can do. You know yourself 100%. You know what you can do. All you do is focus on yourself. Focus on the women who are naturally attracted to you. You don't worry about all this shit. Because you trust me, you'll go crazy. You'll go crazy. You don't want to be in that position where you're just fooled. You worried about somebody, and look, here's a practical thing. They don't give a fuck about you. That woman don't give a fuck about you. Man don't give a fuck about you. You don't worry about them. You focus on yourself. You don't worry about why a particular woman is with a guy, regardless of the reason, regardless of how fine you think she is, regardless of what you think she should be with, whatever. You don't know. Shoot, even when you think you know somebody. Because it just popped in my head that time. I had that nice young lady in the car with me I was going out with at the time. And some guy was hitting me, was in the comments talking about, hey, I could get you a finer woman. It's like, first of all, you don't know what this woman is bringing to me. You don't know what my taste is. In fact, I had another guy said something about a woman I had on here. And he was like, saying all this shit. I blocked his ass. Because I'm like, you don't know what the fuck I like anyway, even if it was me. You don't worry about another human being any damn way. You worry about yourself. You worry about what you can do, what you got, all right? I want y'all to think about that. I want y'all to really think about that. See, too many dudes, I'm going to tell you what, just in general, just in life, period. Unless somebody is actively interfering with your life, what you trying to do, you don't worry about them. You focus on yourself. You don't worry about the next man. You don't worry about how the next man look, what he getting. You focus on yourself. You don't worry about which women you think some woman that you might like is getting with. You don't worry about that because you don't have time to. If she get with a guy, that's her goddamn vagina. You don't worry about it. Don't be like one of these bammers out here talking about, well, I wouldn't get with him. Well, I hope you would, motherfucking shit. I hope you would. Even if you one of those men who like men, you don't have a vagina. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, you don't have a vajayjay. So you don't worry about it. You don't worry about it. You don't spend time. You don't worry about it. You don't know. Look, you don't know that woman. You don't know what's turning her on. You don't know the nature of their relationships. Like I said, you got some couples out here, they can be holding hands, and they ain't really together. Because you do get some women who will do that. You get some women who will do some bullshit like that. Get some guy in the friend zone and, hold his hand, do all that stuff, and ain't giving them nothing. In fact, I knew this very attractive woman. A couple of them, shoot, they were pretty much beards. Normally beards for some gay men. You don't know. You don't know whatever. You don't think about it. You just, all you worry about is who you are and then the women you can get and why they with you. And here's something too. Just like you might be checking out some other man worried about the women he getting, some other man might be checking you out. It's like, what the fuck? You don't know what's up. You don't know what he got. That shit. They don't know what you got, rather. They don't know what you got. They don't know why you and the woman click. Shit. Don't make any motherfucking assumptions. Ooh, got a lane closed up here. Anyway. Go in here, get some vittles. I gotta get me some vittles. I already explained it. It's... Well, only time I'll get food for the entire weekend is on weekends. It is on weekends. Well, the only time I'll get a whole bunch of food. Otherwise, you know me, I buy stuff day by day. Anyway. Focus on your own shit, though. Focus on your own shit. Don't worry about the next man. As long as the next man ain't interfering with your shit, you don't worry about it. And if that woman, I don't care what she look like, what she got that you like, you don't worry about it. You don't worry about it, all right? I don't care how fine you think she is. She with a guy. Is she happy? That's all that mattered to her. That's all that mattered to him. All right? You don't worry about it. So anyway, though. Yeah, that's all I got for today, y'all. Go ahead, get some food and stuff. Anyway, I'll get back with y'all. Peace.